Alrighty, people. I think I finished setting it all up now, so I think we are on. Let me just double check that we are on. I'm actually running it in full screen mode. I don't know if I can get away with doing this with Apex Legends because I've had to reduce the screen and man, I love playing full screen mode. It's just on another level. Personally, I love it. I didn't think it would work so well because I used to have a 32, but it wasn't a 32 ultra wide, and I just couldn't play with it. But then again, it wasn't. I don't know if you'd consider it a 2K monitor. I mean, this thing is what is it? 3440 by 1440. So whatever. I wouldn't consider it a 4K monitor, but obviously it's got a few extra pixels. But like I said, it was let me just check this, right? I just want to bring up the stream, make sure it's all working before we have a chat and we get into it. Start playing. Start playing. History. Let's have a look. Alright, alright. Where is this? Okay. Went to the beach today. And I took music with us and I was using the phone to stream. There we go. So I'm going to subscribe to myself via my other channel because alright, there we go. We've got a live stream, Kovaaks. Wow, that looks bloody delicious. Oh wow. I can't believe how good this looks. Come on, baby. I can hear myself. Oh, oops. Dropped my phone. Alright, here we go. So yeah, it's pretty much ready to go and I can hear myself well, so it is a little bit not so crash hot. Why, oh why? Okay. My phone's got it saved on 144p. Higher picture quality, please. There we go. Oh yeah. Wow, much better. Alright, so if we go into one of these, I just want to see what it will look like. Alright, so I can stop that. Now, I don't know how my voice comes over this, if my voice comes out louder or the bullets are louder, because I might turn it down. Okay, so everything's sort of gone quiet. Alright, so I think this actually has a volume setting. Audio. It's in front of me, I bet you. Sound. Master volume. Might turn it down to around 40. Don't know. Sounds about the same though. Alright, let's get started. Either way, hopefully it'll be good. Thanks for joining me, whoever joins me, or if you haven't joined me, or if no one joins me, anyone who sees this down the track, it is 11 a.m. Meaning, being 11 a.m., it's pretty late. And today I've been to the beach with the kids and the family, and I am buggered, but I've got to get my training in. Now, this is something I wanted to share with everyone. I got a series about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different training lists I run through 10 minutes each. Okay, so it takes me a little while to get through all of them. Excuse my yawning, go tired boy. So what's happening now is I'm gonna do my training, and I usually try and squeeze in maybe one more game of Apex or two after I finish my actual aim training. Reason being is, even if I'm too tired, I don't have time to play, I like to get a game in. Just one or two. which usually turns into 10 because I get fired up and I'm enjoying myself. But we will get into it. I've got a board up here which I've been marking my day. So right now I'm up to the advanced beginner. So when you get Kovaaks, there's an actual guide, a PDF that's made up. And this PDF is made up by, I think, someone called Aim7, or at least I'm following his guide. Now, I know there's some other newer ones sort of being made up, which I'm going to check out. But I just thought, I'm starting on this. Let me do it according to what the guide says. And I've got these little post-it notes, which I've written everything out for myself, just so I can know. So I started off the complete beginner, which I did for 15 days, as it said. And then I moved up to the intermediate beginner. And now I'm running advanced beginner, and the intermediate beginner was for 15 days. Advanced beginner is from 3 to 5 weeks. I always think to myself, if I'm doing something, let me do it in the hardest way possible for the longest way recommended possible. Sorry, I'm just leaning over. So my voice is going out of phase. So yeah, I'll do either the longest and the hardest, just so I can say that I've done all that I can, and this is the best I can do. But that's sort of an open statement considering what we're doing here. All right, so the first one I'm going to run through, I'll run through the list of the things I do, right? This is in the advanced beginner. There is a PDF, like I said, from Aim7 that's accompanied with Kovaaks, okay, usually, or it's sort of, I don't know if it's an official book that comes with it, or maybe just something that was made on the side, but either way, I've got it. I got Kovaaks through Steam. I purchased, I think it was $10 or 15. Best money I've ever spent. Since I've been aim training, and I've been aim training, like I said, started somewhere in, I think, September, late September. We've gone through October, we're in November, now we're in December. Like I said, I've had some breaks in between. It hasn't been consistent every single day, but we could pretty much say that we're confidently at least a couple of months of training, and my gameplay has improved. Now, the game you play, the mechanics and how you move, that's another whole story. That's practice in another whole area. But in terms of my aiming abilities, they have improved. Now, all right, look, man, I'm 46 years old, right? I've been gaming since a young kid, Commodore 64, Hanamex. I mean, I think I was around when they first started to come out, where they had the ball and it just pinged and 2 bars that went side to side. I've still got that Hanamex. Hanamex. And I've got an old Donkey Kong and my old Pac-Man stuff. I'm going to put them up on display when I get everything finally set up in this studio for streaming, where you can physically see me, and I'm going to make a really cool studio with stuff in here instead of just a screen and my voice. But anyway, I've been around and I've been gaming since a really young kid, and I've never been a pro. I've been in and out. I always just played for fun, all the way to, Counter-Strike and stuff, where we used to go to LAN parties with friends. But again, didn't play religiously every night. I wasn't anything special. And I'll be honest, if I had Kovaaks as a young kid to be training, I probably would have been quite special, at least in my aiming abilities. And obviously, anything you do takes time, effort, and it takes exploring, finding your own way, your own tricks and cheats, and, well, they're not really cheats, but your own sort of way of doing things, and sometimes you find things. But anyway, long story short, and also, mentorship and finding people who are really good at it and training you, all these kind of things. But by no means am I a pro, and at 46, I'm not going to say anything's impossible, right? But that's not what I'm going for. I'm just here to have fun. I absolutely love gaming. I'm going to game till I'm 80, or as long as my hands and eyes and my physical body allow me to. Even though you might think, it's only gaming. I mean, what do you mean physical? But, your eyes and your reflexes and everything that comes into effect. All right, I'm yapping a lot. So I'm just going to run through what I'm doing in the advanced beginner, right? So this looks like I've got a few extras in here, but really we're going to start off Rex Strafe's kata. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but in the guide it says to do the Rex Strafe's kata and Fugula X short strafes as well between those two. But I usually, I don't know why, I've been doing Rex Strafes and I haven't really been doing the other. Maybe we should try the Fugula. Let me have a look. Where is it? Am I pronouncing it right? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's because I couldn't find it in here for some reason. Let me do a quick search. But I think we're offline. So Fugula X. It's got a really weird name, the way it's actually spelled. Yeah, I'm not online, so I can't find it. I don't know, for some reason I've got to have Steam running in the background for this to always. But these are downloaded anyway and favorited, so they all work. So I always do rec strafes. I'll do 1 wall, 6 targets up here. No, standard TE, right? And then it alternates. Then I'll go to LG pin practice 360, and then we'll go to tile frenzy. Where are you, tile frenzy? Tile frenzy, not the 180, the strafing where they're moving. 180 they usually just sit. And close long strafes invincible over here. This is where it's a really thin bar, and I absolutely love this. And I think in the guide he did mention that there's no one that's really a tap strafe shooting, I think. Is that what they call it, tap strafing? I'm not one for all the high vocabulary in terms of all the gaming gaming vocabulary. Not high too. I'm not a high vocab guy anyway. But in terms of you know, you can flick shooting or flicking or whatever they call it, where you can just go whoop. There's no one that really does flicking. It's just fast moving, if anything, in reality. And the idea is it's about tracking your target, being able to move your mouse here over this spot really, you know, quick. You can flick, right? And it almost, I mean, yeah, okay, you could sort of call it flicking, but it's also just moving it really quickly. And the idea of practicing flicking and trying to get it to that target, you can over or undershoot. And they've always said, oh, just adjust your sensitivity settings and things like that. But it also affects other ways, where if you reduce the sensitivity settings, you could generally sort of flick quick and land on the target, but then your movement and everything is affected as well. And I like to have a higher setting, so a higher sensitivity setting, so I can really turn quick and move quick, and I don't have to use my whole arm. Some people like to use their whole arm. I've got it in the point where I'm using my wrist, but if I have to, I can use my whole arm. But aside that, you work with what works with you, right? Because there's how many different pros out there who all have different sensitivity settings, and hey, it all works for them. And yeah, you could go and follow someone who's the best out there and have their sensitivity settings. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to smash it. Let me have a drink here. Oh man, that was nice. All right. So realistically, looking at it, you probably want to you know, find your style and what works, right? So I sort of took a guide out of this. I took a tape measure out. I measured, making sure that I can do a 360 with my mouse, covering I think it was 27 centimeters, give or take. There's a guide that tells you between what you should, what's a good start. And really, I'm going for balanced, okay? And as I was saying, in terms of the flicking and bringing it to the target, the reason why I love the close long strafes invincible, I'll show you a little bit. We're going to do it anyway. But, okay, that's not it. That's a larger one. Hang on. Maybe I misread it. Here. Sorry. Thin aiming along invincible. My mistake. So the reason I love this one is, look at that. You've got to stay on target. Now, I'm not warmed up, but even if I am, I'm not really that 100%. But this thing here, if you can stay on this target, it's about tracking. And being able to track is massive. It's important. Rather going boom, 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 boom. I mean, practicing this will as well help you with your snapping, you know, snap shooting or whatever they call it. Tap, I don't know what they call it. I'm thinking tap strafing, but that's not it. That's something they do in Apex. So anyway, my point is, it's really important to be able to follow a target spot on. And this is why I love this one. Look how thin that is. And when I'm playing Apex, no character is that thin. So if I can stay on this guy here, or Gale, or it, for the majority of the time, and I tend to flick back, right? But in the guide, they also say, try and keep it smooth, even if you're delayed. Now, I don't know why. I'd love to know why, but either way, if I can keep on this target, and then I'm playing Apex, the character's larger than this, right? So you can imagine that after practicing this for a while, or finishing the aim trainer and then jumping on Apex, coming up against someone who's like 3 times, maybe 4, at least 3 times the width of this. Tracking is a lot easier. All right, so that's why I really love that one anyway. It's one of my favorites. in terms of getting better. Realistically, I've been doing this for a couple of months and I'm over the whole thing, and I find that I have to pull my ass into the chair to actually sit down and do this. But if I want to improve, that's how it works, right? Bit by bit each day. I have to admit I'm not working as hard as I could. I mean, it takes me about an hour and a half. I've had days where I've been so tired and I'm playing a bit and then switching in and out watching YouTube videos. It's taken me 4 hours to finish this. And heck, at least I get through it and I've done it for the day. But like I said, you've got to put the effort in with anything if you want to improve it. Even if you're not getting much of a sign at the start, it's vitally important that you make the effort. People with talent, that's great. They might not have to work as hard, but people who work hard can beat people with talent. And I'm not saying that I'm working really hard. Like if I was, I'd probably be doing this training 3 times a day, maybe twice a day. But there is such a thing as overtraining as well, I guess. But people who have talent and work hard, very difficult to beat. But hey, you know what? Taking a 2nd or 3rd place to them isn't bad either when you really think about it, right? In the Olympics, you might be disappointed you haven't won. But if you're standing on a pedestal that says you're the 3rd best athlete in the entire world, just have a think about that for a sec, Sucks, yeah, you want to be first. But, again, so something to think about. All right, let us continue. So, and again, why am I doing this at 46 years old? Because I don't want to be jumping on Apex and getting slaughtered like I was and getting frustrated and not being able to enjoy a game that I really want to enjoy, that I really absolutely love playing. It's so enjoyable to me. I love it. So why not? Why not do the training? And then I've basically gone from being at the bottom end of always getting killed without any kills, and it was really frustrating, especially the first time when my friend took me to do this. But anyway, I know we're just sitting here looking at a screen while I'm yapping, and you're like, come on, man, doing my head in. So we'll get started. Not that it's going to be any more exciting anyway, so this stream is what it is. I'm just doing my training. But the story behind it is the first time a friend took me with his brother to play at an internet cafe, Apex Legends, we got so slaughtered. You should have seen the disappointing look on his brother's face. He almost like, I'm never doing this again. Like, this game sucks. But I don't know what happened with me. I got bit by the bug. Like, I got slaughtered, but I thought, wow, could you imagine improving and, getting some kills? I think in the game, maybe I got 1 kill. I think, and I could be lying. Could have been 0. But totally demolished. And don't forget, we weren't playing the most basic ranks because we were teaming up with him. So even though it lowered him, it didn't lower him enough to where we were, because he would have been smurfing, which is someone with a higher skill playing a really basic level and smashing everyone. But anyway, aside that, like I said, something bit me, and little by little I've been playing over the years and getting killed and slaughtered. My abilities went up a little bit more because obviously I was playing the game, and the few kills that I did get were enough to just propel me forward to want to keep playing, but it was more frustrating than enjoyable, as well as coming across cheats, which was really frustrating. And this is the thing why I just don't like cheats, and I don't like cheating programs, because I'm sitting here and I am putting in the effort to get good at a game, to play it, and then you're just loading on a cheat and you're just taking me out. So it's a slap in my face, it's a slap in everyone's face, it's insulting. I don't hate you, I still love you, but it's not your fault you're weak and you want to use cheats, and that's what it is. It's just weakness. Either you're too weak to train to get better, or you're just or you just might be really young and dumb, or very old and dumb, or very middle-aged and dumb, but you're dumb if you cheat. Okay, I don't hate you, but put in the effort, man. It's just so much more rewarding. It really is. Anything in life, putting in the effort. I'm not saying learning skills to be able to get things done faster and better. Yeah, sure, by all means. But, anyway, let's get started. So where was I? Before we continue, long rafes invincible we'll talk about. So I do the one wall 6 targets small. After that, we'll move on to the verticals, which I think are down here. Vertical long strafes. That's the least of my favorite. I just don't know why. I just don't dig it. But anyway, it's very important, and I've used it. I've been in-game where I've been shooting exactly how I train this, and I was like, wow, how important. But yet, still not my favorite, right? hey, it just is what it is. And then one wall, 5 targets. That'll be my second least favorite. But again, vital. And you know, the funny thing is, other than probably the vertical long strafes, this one's probably the biggest ball buster out of all of them. It's quite difficult for me because they're round balls that move around. And you'll see when we get to them. And they can frustrate me. And the one thing with this is learn to breathe, because I find I'm holding my breath sometimes when I'm doing these exercises, which is interesting. And funnily enough, my over 80, I don't know how old he 85, 86-year-old father, when I was telling him about this stuff, he was the one that pointed out about breath to me. And he goes, just pay attention, you're not holding your breath, because that ain't good for your brain, kid. He's awesome when he wants to be. But anyway, he's all good. But yeah, and then we move on to, which is probably the most fun out of all of them, or close to in the batch, which would be my ground plaza. Where is it? Ground plaza, here it is. That's fun. So that's usually last. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start with rec strafes here. And like I said, I set a timer on the side for myself. Even though there is one running up here, I just like to set the timer just so I know what's going on. So I've got it for 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Let me have a quick squeeze. All right. And there we go. This is the first one here. I don't mind this one. This one's quite fun. And what I do is, I've got to keep telling myself that when I'm tracking, to try and track with the dot, the pointer, up high. So sort of shoulder to, or upper chest to head level. I don't try and go just for head level, because there are some people that just strafe and move so well. If I practice constantly trying to hit the head, there's nothing wrong with that, but I just think my hit rate will be, I love to go chest and then work my way up towards head. So if I'm aiming for chest and I accidentally, hit a bit higher and get head, then I'll take them down quicker. If I miss, I'll hit stomach, which is sort of still mid-range to lower center body, which will still get me some good damage. But because sometimes I was doing this at one point, I was like, well, hang on, what am I shooting at their feet? bring your mark up, So as I said, with this, it's after a while you just sort of start to, you get smoother and whatnot. I'm not 100% in my accuracy. By no means am I a pro player. There's people out there make me look really crappy at this. There's some amazing talent. Like, I've put in the name of the actual training thingy-majig or session or module that I'm doing into YouTube, and seen some kids that are just, well, they might not be kids, it might be older people, but amazing. The skill level, man. And this is the other thing now, we're chatting, so my concentration probably isn't 100%, and I don't plan on making videos every time I do this. This is just a video I'm making now, so we can see how it goes. Just to have one video up there of me doing this. Now, one thing I really do wish is that I'd made a video. I'd set up a recording of when I first started doing these exercises and how I was to where I am now, just to see as a reference to myself. I mean, the only reference I've got now to sort of gauge have I improved or not, I guess, is the score practice within here, and I haven't really been using that, to be honest. But the way I really gauge it is my gameplay in Apex. I've noticed. I mean, I'm not. It's not an illusion to me. I never could drop people in the manner I'm dropping them now. Like, the kills I'm getting. One thing I know I've got to improve in Apex is definitely my movement skills, and obviously my aim. Keep improving. There's always area margins for improvement, even if it becomes sort of smaller. Because at the start, you'll probably notice a lot. Excuse me. You'll probably notice a lot of improvement. If you've got a lot of area to improve, you will. Then you'll sort of either hit a wall or a plateau, or the improvement will start going really slow. But there will be improvement even if it's small. You just keep practicing. And sometimes it's just a matter of changing the exercises, making them different, hard, whatever it might be. So after I finished doing this whole thing, and I've completed the course based on the PDF, AMER7, AMER7, I think. Sorry if I butchered that, but I think it's written sort of that way. Pretty cool, man. I'm wrapped for it. I'm glad he put it together, or she. I believe it's a he. Yeah, fantastic. And there's so many awesome videos on YouTube, man. Kids showing how to improve in, in Call of Duty and whatever it might be, Apex, to watch. I've learned so much. But again, it's got to be something you're enjoying, right? I mean, when I wasn't playing Apex, I'd be sitting there watching people play. And then after a while and I was watching for the pure entertainment. And then after a while, I realized I'm actually learning something by watching these people play. I'm picking up on tips and tricks and skills and things that they're doing, and things that I should be asking myself, well, why can't I do that? Tap strafing was one of them, and I've been practicing that. I'm still, by means, nowhere near being able to do it really well. There was talk about them removing tap strafing in Apex, which would make it really interesting. But I mean, Apex Legends, its movement already is incredible. I mean, it's fantastic. And one of my little tricks that I use to get great movement is I play a character called Valkyrie. She's got these jetpacks, she can fly. So, I'm maneuvering over obstacles like large rocks or hills and things like that. Oh, it's a dream. Getting up a building instead of running in, going up the stairs and that. This is just, you fly up to whatever level you want. It's pretty cool, man. I have to admit. So she's helped me in a big way with movement. But yeah, pretty much. So this interesting thing in the book, there's one little tidbit thing that AMER7 was saying. It's like when you're trying to focus on a target, you can either be looking at the target itself, moving side to side, and then trying to bring your crosshair to it. Or you could be focusing on your crosshair and then trying to align the crosshair, the dot. When I say crosshair, it's this dot in front of me because it's not a cross. I've made it into a dot. It's more like Apex, that's why I've done that. So it's more about maneuvering and focusing on the dot over the top of the target. So it's almost like a 3D, or I don't know if 3D is the right word, but do you ever remember looking at those images where you had to focus on them for a while? And then the image would appear in the background. Well, the interesting thing about this is it sort of feels like that to me when I play this. Excuse me. So, but the crosshair part, usually they say is more effective on a target further away. So see where I am now, all the way down there. That's where I'm focusing on the actual crosshair and trying to bring it over the target and keeping it. Once it's over the target at that distance, and then just, thanks for doing that. It's giving me randoms but further away, which is great. But once that happens, you keep it on the target, but you focus on the dot or the crosshair while it's over the target. So it's sort of that 3D look. When they're closer, you can focus directly on the target and then just try and bring your crosshair over it. And again, sort of try and go in and out. So now that we're further away, it's like my my depth of field changes on what I see. So right now at this level, I'm just focusing on my crosshair and the target, but I'm prioritizing the crosshair. Now, as it comes closer, I'm looking at the target more and then trying to bring the target, I'm looking at the target and then trying to bring the crosshair over it. Now I've changed. I'm going crosshair, peripheral, crosshair, target, and when it comes closer, it's target, crosshair. But it's always a combination of bringing them both in together, if that makes sense. I could be wrong on this, and man, if I am, please share. I mean, and tell me what you think. I think this is where the secrets are. There's people who have worked out on where you focus, how you track. There's many different, I think, techniques, and it's what you know. I mean, anyone who's got groundbreaking stuff, then probably not going to want to share that easy. I mean, we've got things like esports where people are making serious money. So if you've got an ability to be able to have an edge or learning better over someone else. Well, you're not really going to try and share that. At least not if it's going to affect your livelihood. But I could be wrong. Some really good people out there that, you know, got a big heart, abundance mentality, and think, hey, you know what? I don't care. Doesn't stop me. Alright, so I might go quiet a little bit and just try and focus, see where we go, because we've got another about 1:10. So I really feel I haven't been focusing all that much. As you can see, I'm not. This is making me look worse than I am. But then again, I am pretty buggered. So when you're tired, I notice the difference with my tracking when I'm tired and when I've had a good night's sleep, which I thought I sort of did. But we were streaming yesterday, playing till pretty late, till 5 so in the morning. Apex Legends. Got up. I got my more than 6 or 7 hours sleep, but then we went straight to the beach, and the beach just smashed me, the heat and all that. So right now, when you're tired, you really feel it. You can see the quality of your play. Sometimes I get into Apex, and it's like as if I've never, like it was when I first started. I'm just getting killed every match. If I'm really buggered, I'm not there. Makes a difference. All right, so my timer goes off. And now I pause, and then we just go to the next one. But I'll have a little quick what's the right word? Hang on. Swig of my drink. Have a swig. Alright. So now we're on to 1 War 6 targets. I sometimes have been mixing these up. I've been starting with the small, working my way up to the standard and then the moving targets, because if I do small first, they're harder because they're smaller targets. They're bigger, then it becomes easier. But I think I'll just run through my list today. I won't mix them up or anything. So 1 War 6 targets, TE, free play, start my timer, and away we go. Now the interesting thing about this is, right, with my mouse, I'll tend to play just shooting with my index finger, but then after a while I also press down the right key on the mouse with my middle finger and fire with my index, because in Apex for me, I'll do it now. In Apex for me, my middle finger is what zooms in my target. Believe me, before I couldn't even do this. It would be just... And as I play this and I get more tired, because I mean they're 10 minutes each, and I just play them usually straight through without much rest at all. You get tired, and then I tend to get a bit sloppier as we progress, or I'll slow down, start missing more targets. I'm actually quite surprised I'm hitting most of the targets. I'm usually missing most. I don't want to jinx myself now. Oh, there we go. I'll start missing them. Alright, so just about that. See how there's generally sort of a mild flicking that might happen, but it's really a tracking sort of movement in itself. At least I believe so. So we'll just run through this. Now, you know, like I said, there's people that I've seen on YouTube go so fast on this. I'm like, how on earth is that humanly possible? It's brilliant. But, see, for someone like me, this is great. And I don't plan on stopping the training. I want to be using this and keep doing this over and over again and practicing and practicing. Why not? You know, usually when I do this, it's a really enjoyable experience because I put on my favorite music in the background and I just sort of beat along with it, or, you know, to the beats, and just it's all good. Or sometimes what I'll do is I'll put on an ebook. I've been getting through some ebooks, so you can actually learn something while you're playing games. How's that? But I'll listen to an ebook. Now what I find is my whole hand and wrist is starting to get tired by pressing my middle finger down, holding it down on the mouse, and then firing with my index finger on the left button. So what I've done is I've let go, and when I let go, I also find resistance lets go, because as my wrist starts to get tired, my whole hand, I'm pressing down harder, my play's a bit different. So, and that happens naturally anyway, even if I wasn't pressing my middle finger down, because you're using your wrist non-stop and shooting. And you'll find that you're not really ever going to be shooting this long in any or many games. Like even with Apex Legends, I'm never really shooting this long. So the practice of doing what I'm doing here is overkill, which is good, which is what you want. Overkill. You want to be overdoing it always. Now I'm going to use my middle finger, which I can already feel my hands quite tired at the moment, and I can feel resistance, so it might slow me down or may start getting a few misses, but that's alright. And the idea is, it's a balance between accuracy and speed, I guess. The more you slow down, more accurate you'll become, but at the same time you've got to push for speed. So as you push for speed, it's a balance of working your way up. At the start, focus on just accuracy rather than speed, because you don't want to be just flinging all over the place, missing everything. Sometimes, and you'll see that now. You'll probably start to see a lot more misses as you progress. I can really feel my wrist starting to burn up. It's like going to the gym. See, I didn't even press there. Buttons. Fingers are getting tired. Now, this is where I think to myself, jeepers, what happens when I'm 70, 80 years old? Am I going to be able to do this? Because I really want to play all my life. I do. I love the idea. Hopefully, when we Facebook get the metaverse set up, I've always thought to myself, can you imagine being able to just sort of move your fingers while you sit there on the couch and you're interacting? Gameplay is going to change massively, I think, as we continue into the future. I don't think mouse and keyboard will be our go-to forever. I don't even think controller will be, to be honest. There'll be gloves of some sort, things you hold while you sit there. I have heard of someone playing Apex with using their PS3 PS5. Those like wand controller sort of things. Don't know if it's true or not. I read about it somewhere. Someone saying that. But, I think it's all going to change. So can you imagine being able to put a glove on or whatever, some VR, sit back on a couch in your 80s, and you've got abilities that you just don't have in the real world. And be able to just jump and move and do the things. But look, believe me, you've got to move even in your 80s, man. I used to follow this guy, Rick Drayson. He was the guy who drew the logo for Gold's Gym. Did he do World's Gym as well? But anyway, unless it was World's Gym. No, it was Gold's Gym, I'm pretty sure. He trained with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the day. He had like a YouTube channel. If you ever see, he's passed away now, may rest in peace. But his videos are still up, and I used to love watching him, man. He was awesome. Old guy had knee issues, but man, he got up every morning, whenever he possibly could, got to the gym, did his workout, and he always said it. He goes, once I get moving, that's when I really feel amazing, no matter how sore I am. That's the thing, I was a young kid once. It was amazing waking up in the mornings and having zero pain. and being able to, you just got up, you didn't think about anything, nothing hurt, right? Once, you know, went late into the 30s, 40s now, it's like, you know, you wake up with something. But I guess in my case, really, my issue is I stuffed my back up as well. I did a lot of martial arts and stuff. I was quite a physical kid. I smashed my knees up, but my back I did in the worst. Herniated disc, didn't have surgery, rehabbed it through a Chinese medicine mate of mine. Well, he became my mate after he helped me so much. I love him. Shout out to David. David Zhang, awesome. I'm pronouncing the name right. Do I do it honor, my friend? But you know, yeah, helped me a lot, mate. This therapist got me moving. Didn't need the surgery, but we've had an injury that was long term, right? So before David fixed me up, I suffered for over a year with it. I walked like a 90-year-old man, mate. That's how it was terrible. And this guy got me back. I'm back on track, you know. I can move now, no problem. This was a long time ago though, right? It's going on 10 years now. 10 years ago. Horrible though, isn't it? 46, I would have been 36 around there when I was suffering with it. But yeah. But moving is important, right? So I'm going to tell you now, not moving. See how I'm getting tired now? I'm getting sloppy. Can you see it? Compared to how it was when I first started. But that's good. That's all right. We're just pushing through the soreness of the wrist. I mean, obviously not to the point where we're doing any damage. If you're feeling any sharp pains or stuff like that, this just feels like muscle soreness, you know. And I constantly try and readjust and tell myself relax. Try and relax the wrist and the hand. Because I'm tensing it up. Also, the other thing I do use, and I used to use one of these when I was a young kid, is, I don't know what they're called. You hold them in your palm and you squeeze together. You squeeze these things together. It's like these two pieces of plastic with a huge thick spring on top, and you squeeze it together and it builds your forearms. I'm telling you, very important if you're doing a lot of gaming, carpal tunnel stuff issues. You know, you want to keep that all strong. Right, so something to consider. And exercising is vital. So even when you're an old man and you're using your VR to escape, you know, and do things you can't physically do, at least exercise enough so you can get up off the couch and go and grab yourself something from the fridge or go to the toilet and wipe your butt. It's really important. Or old lady. Or old person. Alright, time flew on that one. Alright, so that's done. Now we're moving on to LG Pin Practice 360. And this one is a fun one in the sense that it's super easy. Isn't that funny? All the things that are easy are fun. But not everything was fun, right? And then it became fun as it got easier too. So, but you know what, mate? Doing things that aren't easy or uncomfortable make you better always, and you feel so awesome after when you accomplish them, you know. What I'm trying to do now is practice flicking like that, because I found that in Apex, now there's that tap strafing where you can turn around really quick, I guess, but even just in general, in any game, being able to just flick, get around to the next thing. I mean, I can't say fully who's to what side, but just the practice of it. And also I noticed here with these, if you hit the body, they drop longer. If you go for the head, if I can get the head here, they drop quicker. So now I'm pressing both buttons on the mouse because I'm treating it like as if I'd be zooming in while playing Apex. Usually I'm always pressing the second mouse and aiming down sight, right? But where I might not, and I might hit fire at times, is if they're very close to me. So being that these guys are further out, I'm usually zooming in as well if I'm using a sniper rifle. Sometimes I've got a shotgun, I'm going to hit fire because I know that the spread's pretty good, but it also depends on the distance. So that's another thing to note. Now, you know, look, some people might be thinking, you know, I'm 46 years old, I'm playing games. What do I know? I'm going to go listen to an expert. And by all means, do that. Don't just listen to whatever I say. I would be watching videos on many people, not even an expert. Randoms out there. Do you know how many young kids or older fellas like myself or older than me are probably guns at this game, but they're probably just too shy to even make a video or say anything. They just play the game and that's it, and they don't do much else, right? I guarantee you there's people like that out there, you know. I guarantee you there's people that are not playing esports that are really good at shooters and they just don't want to. They just don't want to. Everyone's different, right? Okay. So, oh, look how close this guy came. Yeah. Shape up, huh? Okay. Trying to focus on the wipe up, but you know, it's not always the case. Can't tell you how beneficial this has been. And you know, even though I said aiming the crosshair over the target, focusing, depth of field, I mean, sometimes I just forget and I'm not even doing that. And I don't know, sometimes it's automatic. And that's the other thing about practicing with anything, right? There's, I remember learning from a guy called Kevin Trudeau, Mega Memory, when I was young. I ordered it online when he was on TV. And you know, despite all the things I've heard, good and bad about him, I have to admit I really love that program. It was quite a basic program on memory and memory development, but it was fun. But the one thing I always remembered him, what he taught, and it stuck with me, and I've always made it something that I've been aware of when I've been doing anything that I'm learning new, is he mentioned that when you're learning something, you've got uncompetence, right? You're consciously incompetent. You're aware of that at your own. And the more you try, or not more you try, when you're trying, you're incompetent. You're not able to do it. And then when you practice along, then eventually you become competent, or you start to become more competent. And you're consciously trying while you're competent. So you're consciously doing it, the practice. Like now I'm consciously sort of focusing on the targets and relatively competent. Whereas before I would have been like that. That's how I literally was before. That was my aim. That's how I'd be doing it. Whereas now I'm more competent than what I was. I can sort of keep it on the target, you know. Alright, so sometimes I become unconscious competent. So I am competent without thinking about it. When you think about these high performing gamers, right, who have done scrims and so many different routines and art and practices and whatever it might be in trying to get really good, they have practiced to the point where I guarantee you they're very much unconscious competent players. Now, the game itself probably would require a level of competence in movement, but their aiming abilities, once they've got their sensitivity settings set right, it's all over. I mean, unless the game has some different mechanics, the way it sort of, you know, works, but yeah, definitely. And I'll be honest, I've seen some players in Apex that I really believe they're even unconscious in their movement. Even though the scenario is different, their method of executing and taking down their target or enemy is even though the location may be different, the scenario might be a bit different, it's the same approach they use, and they just 95% of the time or more are victors. Young kid, Timmy, it's Timmy or whatever they call him. Boy, I love watching that guy, man. He's got heaps of subscribers, he's doing well and he deserves it. He's amazing. He's incredible. You know? You can only imagine. And his brother, I think he used to play pro. ACU. I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here watching young kids, man. I mean, they're not really that young. They're in their 20s. In Australia, once you're 18 and over, you're considered an adult. So, but, you know, the young kids, and they're just smashing it. And this is what I mean, that, You know, the other thing of wisdom is to never think that because you're older that you're wiser or you're better. Because boy, oh boy, have I met old people that are as dumb as dog shit. And I don't mean it in intelligence. I mean they're just idiots. You know, and you think, oh, it doesn't, you know, wisdom grow with age? Nope, nope. I can't tell you how wisdom grows. Is it through suffering? Is it through some form of enlightenment? Are you born with it? I don't know, because I was an idiot. I want to mention it right out, man. When I was a young kid, far out, I don't know, I was just a total, you know, dopey, man. And I don't mean in terms of smart again, right? Just, I was an idiot. I just did dumb shit. Never the type of kid that went out and did anything violent or stuff like that. Just, you know, not really, I thought to myself I could be sensitive, but majority of the time it was like I was unconscious, running around just doing stupid stuff, you know, not really thinking. And when I did think, it wasn't for very long. I wasn't a bad kid though. I don't think I was. I never enjoyed making other people suffer or causing trouble or fighting. I never backed down from a fight. Far out, I'd fire up if we were to go, no worries. But I never loved the idea of fighting. I never wanted to fight. I always wanted to just be a dumb shit, make people laugh, you know. I was bullied as a kid, so I found that being the comedian, well, everyone sort of loved you when you were the comedian. So that's what it was. I was the comedian. But at the same time, if someone wanted to have a go, I took enough punches as a young kid to know that. So I could hold my own. And I remember wanting to do martial arts. My dad wouldn't send me. Don't know why. I just said, come on, man. My mates are doing it. My friends are doing it. I want to do it. Learn to defend myself. No. Long story short, eventually I did get to go thanks to Mum. But, yeah, it was awesome. I think we did heaps of different martial arts. My first martial arts was Bob Jones Zendu Kai Karate, Flinders Street. Oh, man. Senpai Paul, there was this guy, man. I used to look at him and think, wow, this guy's a gun, man. It's 80s looking Richard Marx, you know, with a what's that hairstyle that's come into fashion now? With a mop crop, is it, you know, with the long hair in the back, short on the sides, sort of, you know, short on top. But this guy was a gun. He was just like muscly. He was got his black belt. He's like a tough mother, you know. And I was like, man, that's it. That's how I want to be. And then we found the ultimate martial art that I fell in love with, thanks to my idol, Bruce Lee. Oh man, Wing Chun. And this is the funniest part, right? I learnt Wing Chun from a guy called William Chung. Or William Chang. How crazy. That was so awesome. I remember that. A wooden dummy. All this. If there was any martial art, I probably did the longest. It would have been that one. Alright, we're moving on to Tile Frenzy 180. Getting through this. Hey, you know what? This is really enjoyable, talking and having a chat here and doing this. Even though we've got 0 viewers. It's just making it so much fun getting through. Okay, let's take another swig. Nice. Got to ease up on the soft drinks, man. Even though sugar free. Water. Gotta drink water. Yeah, it was just awesome. Wing Chun, man. Oop. These ones get me because they move. Then we did Aikido. Man, Aikido. I loved it. With Field. Michael Field was my teacher. Went and studied in Japan. Field Aikido it was called. It's still around, but Michael Field has passed away. Rest in peace. What a man, right? I remember starting. And I remember going back to see him and telling him that he did that. And he was like, no, I never did that. I can't believe I did that. I said, you don't remember, but I'm telling you did that, because there's another 2 people that can confirm what I'm saying. We were young kids, we started, and then he was in his dojo, we finished training, and we walked up to him and said, oh, Sensei, can we stay back? He's like, what? And I said, can we stay back and train? We want the mat time, We're all white belts, we haven't been training for long. And he's like, oh, that's a bit weird, but yeah, I guess if you really want, I go, we can lock up and everything. We'll make sure everything's clean, and we all finished doing the cleaning, and then he let us stay back, and we were in his dojo. These 3 kids, me and this other guy Ben and Chucks, Stephen, we called him Chucks, and we were practicing some of the basic moves, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell, how trusting and awesome. And when I told him that, I think he couldn't believe it. He couldn't even remember it, let alone. His school had grown. I went back and saw him a long while after. I'm just trying to focus here. Yeah, and it was awesome. And I was just thinking, what an incredible human being, right? He was awesome. He was just so friendly, but he could be vicious, But he was great, As a teacher, he was just so cool, man. I liked him. Anyway, that was another experience there. Did some taekwondo with a local teacher down my way here for a little while. It was interesting with this guy. This guy was cool. We learned some really good skills. The taekwondo, though, at the end of for some reason, I don't know why, but at the end of the class, everyone would sit around. He'd pick me, make me get up, and he'd spar with me while everyone watched. And every time I try to come, closer for a kick or whatever, I wasn't going full attack, obviously. He would just go full power, and would always send me back, So I'd come in, throw a few kicks lightly, and then quickly step back. So I was like, man, if you connect me with that kind of kick, I was a young kid, mind you, right? I couldn't work it out though, but he'd always pick me for that. And while in one way, sort of felt like, wow, I'm honoured, I'm always being picked. The other way was, freaking pick someone else, give me a break. But anyway, but that was cool. We learnt some martial arts there as well. I've done sticks, Kali Screamer, if I'm saying it right, but I was through a friend, an old friend at that time, who was Filipino, who had some great skills with sticks. We practiced them. That was great, man. That was awesome. Great workout. Brutal, man. You know how to use sticks. You're in. Whew, yeah. And what a great art, right? Because a stick. Even learning to use one, we started off with 2. Most of the schools, they make you use 1 stick before you can go on and you progress. We just start off with 2, doing some great combinations and practicing on that. It was awesome. And it was interesting to see the fighting style he had as well, because it translated from the sticks. And instead of the sticks, it was your arms, right? So it was pretty cool. Filipino art's pretty cool. What else did we do? I've done quite a few martial arts. I've done ninjutsu. That was funny. I gotta tell you about this one. I was into ninjas when I was a kid, like you can't imagine. Shout out to Revenge of the Ninja, Sho Kosugi. If I've said his name right, at least that's how I've always pronounced it from a kid. Man, Revenge of the Ninja. And the Master Ninja, only a couple of episodes of that with Lee Van Cleef, man. I remember the WOG guy that was, he was Greek or Italian American, and he was in it. But man, as a kid, oh man, I loved it. I love that show. There wasn't much. And Raven. But anyway, what was I saying? I love ninjas, right? Bought ninja suits, got ninja sword from when I convinced my mother to let me buy me, should I say, a ninja sword. I think I was 12 or 13 from Joel's Martial Arts here in Melbourne when I was a young kid. Can you believe it? This thing was sharp. Good luck trying to do that these days. Permits for everything. But anyway, and I had a full ninja suit, multiple ones, and I went to do ninjutsu, and I thought, okay, I'll just put my suit on, and I had a camouflage. The suit I wore wasn't a black one, it was my my camouflage, army camouflage ninja suit, and it came with a belt. Belt was a brown color to match the camo, you know, because it was like a brown color camo. It wasn't green. And I went to the class and jumped in, started training, and after a while, the teacher comes down and says, "Ask you a question." He goes, "How come you're getting the moves all wrong?" I'm saying to him, "What do you mean?" So you're how long have you practiced ninjutsu for? I said, "That's my first lesson." He's like, "Oh, what? What? Oh, shit." I'm like, "What? What's going on?" He goes, "You know, half the class behind you's been following your movements." I'm like, "What the hell? Why? Why are you wearing a brown belt? Get that damn thing off." Made me take the brown belt off. Obviously, they had a belt color, but that was part of the uniform. It was just, I bought an ninja suit that was brown color camo, came with a brown belt. Oh, it was hilarious. And we had all these kids, guys that were obviously more experienced than I was, and they're trying to follow me, thinking, "What the hell is this guy doing?" I think it would have been a scene right out of Borat. But anyway, but yeah, that was it. That was fun. So anyway, I took that off. He moved me down the back. I was dishonored. Talk about a punch in the gut, right? But it was also funny, I think. And anyway, long story short, did a couple lessons there. Well, actually, it was more than a couple lessons. I was there for a little while, but in the end, I left. And that's where I sort of came into the concept of grappling. Believe it or not, I didn't really get to do much grappling anywhere else. I did a special course. It was short, but it was a special forces course, and you had guys from Black Ops, legit Black Ops. They were nuts, man. Fed police. I don't know what the purpose of this course was, to be honest. Was it to train bodyguards or something? I don't know, but a friend of mine found it. I went and did it. Maybe it was just a money grab, but there was actual federal police there as well, and they were all different from different areas, and they were trainers, and they were teaching combat situations, like how to knock people out. I mean, I was shown how to do a proper chokehold and stop the blood from going to your brain, knock you out, and then how to revive you, and that not reviving you could also kill you because of lack of oxygen and blood pumping, and you had to elevate the feet after and that. And you did different levels. You get knocked out so you can experience it, and it's just like having the best sleep of your life. You pass out, but every time you do it, you kill brain cells. So not a good idea to continually do something like that. But anyway, so I did that, and man, we learned some stuff in there. That was pretty awesome. I think it was around the time I was training Aikido that I ended up there. I remember seeing a black belt Aikido student from my school who was doing it as well there. But it was interesting. We did a lot of grappling, and that's where I really started to understand the idea of jiu-jitsu, and man, pretty powerful. One-on-one, know how to fight, ground fight. Jiu-jitsu is, that's the one art I always think to myself I'd like to revisit. But Aikido, to me, there's people that say, "Oh, it's piffy and all that." Look, let's be honest, right? It all comes down to the student and the individual. You take an 80-year-old, and they're an 80-year-old, whether they're a black belt in karate, jiu-jitsu, or whatever. And you'll find, even experts in jiu-jitsu will tell you, if you're an 80-year-old and you're taking on a 20-year-old who is really fit and tough, you might as well be taking on a black belt. Because that's how hard it is. But it's still amazing to think that as an 80-year-old, you'd have enough skill to probably... But the strength, that's the interesting part. How strong would you be to be able to implement certain things, being on the ground and your joints, and able to move and trying to apply certain locks and maneuvers? Because, I think when you're 80, you just need a gun. Get your shotgun and come out in the porch, and if you take one more step, I'll blow your head off. On to the next one. So now we're moving on to close long strafes invincible. Man, this is going so quick and awesome. Even my hand doesn't feel as sore. Either I'm not focusing and tensing as hard because I'm talking, or Must be something along the lines like that. So yeah, again, I think to myself, depending on... Oh, we got the wrong one. I always pick the wrong one. Why do I pick the wrong one? It's thin. There we go. Thinner. What was that? That was from a movie I remember seeing when I was... Thinner. It was a TV show where a gypsy puts a spell on a person and they go thin or something. Anyway. But yeah, so yeah, once you're really old, it's good to still have certain skills, but you are limited. Most conquerors didn't conquer the world in their 80s, did they? They become philosophers. Now this one is so tricky. Try and get the sometimes I can stay on it for a good time, majority. Other times I'm just... And I always love having a game of Apex. Now, did you see that? That was nice. See how I just smoothly come back? Even though I'm not doing it like that, like really quick, and just snappy on the target. Which again, I think to myself is pretty important, because if you're playing against someone who's moving really well, snapping back on him is good. But for some reason, they were saying just try and keep the movement smooth. I think it's about just practicing the movement of smooth tracking. Challenge. So look at that. Oh, come on, keep up. But even though, right, like you gotta think about it, I'm just off target, but look how far away I am. Now, if I was playing a character, if I was shooting down a character in Apex, I'd be getting hits here. Do you see how important, how vitally important it is, this particular practice? Even if you're crappy at it, like me, missing most of the time, because it's so thin, if you're able to stay, within 2 to 3 sticks of that, you'll do well either way. Up and down, up and down. And this is where it's important while you're practicing like this, it's breathe. And I try and do this breath where it's hold, exhale, but exhale for twice the length, even 3 times. And that sort of calms you down. Now I know I can move with this. It didn't really say anything about moving with it. See, a trick I have when I play Apex is if I move in the same direction as I'm shooting, like that, it sort of helps with aligning. But I'm just practicing it using just the mouse at this point. And you can sort of give yourself a little bit of an edge. You can practice jumping while you're trying to strafe it, I guess. Makes it a bit difficult. Whoa, whoa. Oh, I didn't realize. If I hold down the spacebar, look at this. What the... How high up can I go? Ah, that's hilarious. Never done that before. Anyway. If you come across this channel, you like listening to me just yap as a cool hangout, subscribe. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, just ignore it. You can even post a comment. I'm sure I'll probably get notified. But yeah, this is just really more something I'm doing, I guess. Look, there are ways I know I can get people to the site, but at this point, you've got to start somewhere. So I don't really want to start massively promoting and even paying advertising to get eyes on to, because I'll be honest, I haven't even changed the name of this site. It's still called Feng Shui, because that's what I was building it. I was going to make stuff all relating to Feng Shui, because I was into that a while back. Not so much now. I still got the wealth shit because I love it, but I had to let go of some of the more serious beliefs of it. It was actually causing me more anxiety than happiness. And there was one thing I did read regarding Feng Shui at one time. They said that when you're connected in spirit, that's the highest form of Feng Shui practice. I could be wrong. Maybe I misunderstood it. Maybe it was written by someone that didn't know anything. But the truth is, meditating, staying balanced, being as happy or joyful for no reason, just being connected. Either if you don't believe in a higher power, connected to the higher consciousness of your mind, or at least, if you do, connected to that higher power, that be, universal power, God force. It brings me peace. Sometimes when I practice here, I go into no mind, as Eckhart Tolle. If you haven't heard, I don't know, it's not for everyone, but man, Eckhart, I love listening to that guy. It's helped so much with my enlightenment process. I like to go into no mind, no thinking. I usually do that by just sitting and observing my thoughts and not getting involved with them, not trying to stop them, make them go away, just allowing them to be, allowing everything to be, whatever my emotions are in that moment. Thoughts are just letting them all be. And just watching them, becoming aware that I am observing my thoughts and mind. And then you'll get like a silence sometimes. That's when it starts to happen. Going into the vortex, as Esther might call it. Not might, does. So once I start going to that no thing, nothingness, as Eckhart calls it as well, it's awesome. I just sit there in that blissful quietness and realize that I am realizing that there's nothing. And then saying to myself, well, hang on. Who is realizing that there is nothing at the moment when there's no talk, no chatter, no nothing? And then, the atheist will say, well, it's just the consciousness of your mind becoming aware and different levels of consciousness. And that's fair enough. It's still a great feeling. And using these kind of abilities with problem solving or when you're stressed, it helps a lot. I mean, I don't think it probably helps 100% of people on the planet, but definitely has helped me. I think disconnecting from our mind and realizing that we're not the sum. Well, we're not all our thoughts, because our thoughts sometimes are just all over the place. They're scattered. They're crazy. There is a higher self, higher consciousness, spirit that's within the body. Or you might believe that you're just really a different level of the brain that's operating. If that makes you sleep better at night, then hey, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. Believe what you want. As long as you can find that blissfulness, it's just trying to focus on this thing here. It's got me. Let's go one finger on the mouse, because I find also the lighter your mouse, the better. Honestly. At least for me. You get less tired, less fatigue. Trying not to snap back. It's natural. Back on target. Slow, smooth. You gotta follow this faster, right? And then because you're going that fast and then it stops instantly, your momentum is definitely overshooting. Then trying to come back smoothly, it's even bigger delay. But that's what it says, just do that. Actually, I don't know if this is my favorite, but I definitely know it's very beneficial. This has been one of the primary things I think that have helped me improve in Apex. Just being able to track, like someone's in front of you now and you're like, they're shooting at you. And usually, you know, you're doing this kind of thing. Try not to get shot while you're just following them as well. Wow. Alrighty. We're getting there. It's 12:20 a.m. Oh, this is about where I'm starting to feel a bit lazy. Where I'd probably chuck on a YouTube video, chill out a little bit, watch that, and then continue on with my training. And it makes my training go from an hour and a half or so to 2 or 3 hours. Alright, let's continue. I'm sitting up now, so I was chilling back in the chair. Now we're moving on to 6 targets small. This one I like. Oh, this one's a good one. Set the timer for another 10 minutes. And off we go. Now this one is where you're really focusing on the crosshair going over the target. Like you're not, see, I just looked at the target there. This is where this forces me to look at my crosshair and make sure it is covering the target. Definitely on it. If I'm just looking at the target and then I'm trying to bring the dot like I was just doing now to it. Look, I'll do it. I'll focus just on the targets. Let's see how we go. I might still be able to do it because I've been doing this for a while now. My mind just now automatically wants to align the dot. Though, if I get tired enough, I don't know, maybe I'll lapse. Look at that. I could have sworn I was over the top of that, but I probably wasn't. See my snapping? Sometimes I'm overshooting. Sometimes I'm right there. And that's another thing, right? Like people going, bring your sensitivity down. Now, realistically, it's what you practice. Before I was overshooting like, whoa. Because I turned the sensitivity up and I was like, how am I going to relearn now to play with this kind of sensitivity just because the guide said that I should be able to do a 360, you know? But he's right. When you're in game, you've got to be able to turn right around. I'm missing him. Making me look bad. Now imagine doing these and then going to the target one, was it 6 targets? TE, the larger ones, the big round ones. Imagine doing those after this. Perspective, isn't it? Practice on a harder. And apparently, don't recorrect. If you miss the shot, move on and then come back to it. So like I missed it, go here, then back. Back here, and then back. I don't know why it tells you that. Maybe because when you're playing, if you miss, the habit of just going back to reshoot in the same location, that player won't be there. They'll be moving. I'm going to take my middle finger off now and just rest my whole wrist. Relax the hand. Just use my index finger. Bring it up. Shoot. Continue. I want to focus a little, so I'm just going to go quiet for a sec. Sunday night here. I haven't been that quiet, start talking again. Sunday night here. Well, it's actually Monday morning. crazy. I have got so much unboxing. I had to give the whole day to the kids today. Well, I didn't even give them a whole day considering I woke up, slept in a little. But it's not necessarily quantity, it's quality. So went to the beach, it was fun. If I was pre-recording this to upload later, I would have superimposed a photo of us at the beach today viewing a beach fire. There's other people around there and they were barbecuing and stuff, and they were sitting next to a shrub, like lots of dry, I don't know if you call them, what would you call them, beach ferns, sort of. They're huge. And it caught on fire. It's like massive. It was taking off. And then all these guys from the group, they just went bonkers, man. You should have seen them. They jumped up there. They're standing next to the fire. I'm like, are these guys nuts? This thing goes out of whack. They'll be burned alive. They went nuts. They were just on there smashing it, patting it, trying to put the fire out. This thing was just roaring. It took off. Quite large. I called straight away, but others had called as well. So already the fire brigade, so they knew about it, which is good. And then these guys are taking their eskies, where their coolers, I think they're called in America, I think they're called esky. Eski's a brand here, we've just stuck with it. But they're taking their coolers that had water in them and ice, and they're pouring it over. And I'm like, nah, they're not going to put this thing out. This was huge, right? And I'm like, these guys are nuts where they're sitting, because this thing could just take off wildly. Sorry, just gonna scratch my neck. And man, I was surprised. They managed to get it not completely out, but controllable. And then the fire brigade got there and sort of hosed down the rest of it to the point where it was alright. But then I remember leaving with the kids, and as we were walking past, we walked past it, and it was still smoking, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't think this thing is completely out. My wife's like, nah, it's just smoky, probably because, you know, they put it out with the fire. And I'm like, no, it's still smoking, like it's still an element, and it's still hot, you know. If this all dries up, I reckon it'll reignite. And we live like close by to the beach. It's like probably, I don't know, we walk there, put it that way, took the pram and all that stuff. So it takes us probably about 2 minutes to walk to the beach. Like we're not far. We're not on the beach, obviously, but anyway. And then, you know, after we were getting ready to have dinner, so you could hear the fire brigade. Woo woo! My son jumps up, rips open the curtains. This huge red fire engine driving past. Like, yes, they're going there because that fire started again. Like, you're probably right, mate. So I reckon it relit. Okay, focus isn't there. But as I said as well, as you get sort of closer to the end of the training, you've got fatigue happening. I'll try and focus a bit more. Red dot over the yellow dot. Red dot over the yellow dot. Red dot over the yellow dot. Oh, come back to you. Boom, 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 boom. Now, the reason I love this too is because there's a gun called the Wingman inside in Apex. And oh man, if you can use that, that is it's a nasty gun. And it's just got this satisfying, it's almost like the Desert Eagle was in Counter-Strike. It's just got this satisfying bang, like a solid, when you fire it, and it's a thump. Like it's really, and it does damage. And I've always wanted to use it. Practicing like this, well, this is the kind of, you get this kind of, if you put a, I think it's a HCOG, I'm not sure, there's a particular site which gives you a red dot like this exactly. I love it. Doesn't zoom, but gives you this kind of dot, right? Pull out an R99, you spray them with that. If you can't drop them with that, guaranteed 1, 2 max shots with the wingman, and they're going down. And oh, there's just something really satisfying about dropping someone with a wingman, especially if you've dropped them completely with the ammo in the wingman. If you can get yourself a purple or a gold mag, which, you know, the gold will reset for you, reload on its own. That's the only bonus. But the purple, you've got to, but they can hold quite a bit compared to the grey mag and blue. I'm just trying to think. I'm not sure how many rounds it holds. I can't remember. So that's wrong, Harry. You should remember that. Alright, well, relax. We're not going to play A level, are we? If I was, I've memorized everything, every bullet, every gun. Heck, I still don't know the full names of the landing areas on the map. You know, your water treatment plant and sort of certain spots I know, but I don't know all of them. Especially with the new maps. It's like, well, that's the one thing I wish Apex would do. Like when you're landing, I wish they would actually have the names floating over the areas. That would be cool. You know, like, anyway, it just would be a cool thing. Alright, we've done small. We've got 3 more to go, and then we finish. We'll knock out a game in Apex as well. Vertical long strafes. My least favorite. Here we go. You get to see it. But again, vitally important. Now, you've seen this video, right? And you've seen that I haven't really stuffed around all too much and like, you know, let me bring this there. There we go. Alright. So, and you've seen how long it's taken so far in terms of how long we've been recording for. How long have we been going for? I've got to keep my eye on this. We'll have a look after. So every day I've got to pretty much practice this. I mean, I've got days where I've missed out. We had some stuff happen and really threw me off, so it was nearly a week since I practiced, and then I got back into it. But no matter what, I try and stay as consistent as I can. Try not to go past 2-3 days of no practice. But ideally, every day. And then once you've done the training, you can do different training modules or keep up particular practices that you think are being beneficial, or at least do once or twice a week some training. But then it also depends, right, how much you're playing. Like I play Apex every day, right? And here's an interesting thing which I heard Timmy say this, and I don't know whether it was for real or it was just something he threw out, but he did say, you know, when you play Apex, play to practice, don't just play to play for the sake of playing. So, you know, say to yourself, and I tried to think about that. What did he mean, play to practice? Well, it's as simple as it sounds, right? Today I'm going to practice my strafes, or I'm going to practice my bullet dodging, or I'm going to practice my aim with sniper rifles, or I'm going to, you know, whatever it may be. And then you get into the game and you specifically are focused around that, not just playing the game and trying to get some kills, but around practicing certain movements. This is where I've thought to myself about the idea of running your own private Apex server, because I would love to get Pathfinder, put him in that game, and go around different areas and different maps and practice different movements. If there's one character I think is the coolest character to date overall, it's got to be Pathfinder. For me, that robot, he is just awesome. The way he looks, he's just a robot, you know what I mean? I've envisioned that if we ever went into the future where we were controlling robots to fight for us, and hopefully not against ourselves and mankind, but hopefully not against anyone, actually. I'm not really all for war, but I guess that's sort of part of the sci-fi part of me. You know, if we had to use a defensive mechanism to defend the planet, I always envision the idea of controlling a robot like Pathfinder, or robots like him, in the same mean by sitting back behind a computer and having, you know, visuals and abilities to be able to do the things he does. But again, not against mankind. I wouldn't like to see these things policing and walking down our streets. I love the idea that we've got real human beings, though they probably would be a lot more efficient, less emotional, more straight down to the line, you know. You won't be able to really appeal to their emotions. They'll be just complete robots. That's what they are, right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Post it in the comment section. Seriously, I would love to hear the opinions of people on this. I'll be blown away if I have a look, you know, there's like one viewer a month later posts in the comment, robots because, and gives me a breakdown. Oh man, that would be so cool. But anyway, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I'm not even focused here or conscious in any way. I'm just playing, man. I'm not focusing on trying to get it better, which I should try. That's the whole idea. Smoothness. So this is all about smoothness and tracking. Even if it's not on target 100%, it's a practicing of the smoothness. You know, this is the tricky part. I remember reading in the manual, goes, now you're going to go and try these exercises, you're going to realize, because by the time I had gotten through, what was it, the intermediate beginner, I think it was, man, I thought I was good. I improved in the game, and I was like, yeah, man. And it goes, now you're going to find out how crappy you really are. Or is that after this even? I'm not sure, but he mentions it, and I thought, what? And you're pretty much practicing this kind of move where it's changing on you so instantly, and you don't know which direction it's going to go. Trying to determine that, it's like you need a crystal ball. I mean, the only thing you can do is react. You can only be reactive to it. And reactive as quick as you can. Minimal amount of... Look at that. It's just, you don't know if it's going to keep going straight, it's turning back on you, it's going to stop. The stop part does my head in, because it stops and you're expecting it to move. And sometimes it stops, I go up and I wait for it to come back up. I'm like, no. You're meant to sit on the ball. Target. Roger, Maverick has your ball. Has the ball. Again. I have this thing where I sometimes, me and my mate Dean Steely, the man of steel. How's that? He's got a surname, Steel, the man of steel. Who loves his pizzas. Anyway, he does. That's his favourite food. Chili, garlic, seafood. Yeah. And damn, it is nice. I tried it a couple of times. Anyway, what was I going to say about him? I forgot what I was going to say about him. Totally went blank. Oh well. Shout out to Steely. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I said Maverick, you know, Roger. Maverick eligible. We have this saying where we use quotes out of movies, sometimes like our all-time favorite film is Big Trouble in Little China. Good old Jack Byrne. Oh man, you know, relax. Like we'll say quotes out of there. You know? May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. That's awesome. Wow, it's raining cats and dogs out here. No, I won't continue with that one. That's one thing Jack says. He's trying to find out information. He goes in undercover to I won't say. But yeah, man, it's just one of our favourites. We've got a few quality ones, but man, I can't imagine it. You know, one of the most biggest disappointments for me was listening to Kurt Russell say that he wasn't one of his favorite films, or even he doesn't even like it much. You know, the character he played, man, just he's like tough, comical, but you know, I'll kick your ass sort of. Man, what a character! He's just, that was brilliant. You know, he's just got that face for more of a comedy style action hero, you know. He's awesome. You know? And he really didn't take to that one for some reason much, but it's turned into a cult thing. I remember I was watching the movie because I own the Blu-ray, and yeah, it's got the with the what do you call it, commentary over it, where he's being interviewed and he's talking while they're watching it. It's awesome. Like, I watched that and then I rewatched it straight away, literally, with commentary after it, and all those extra scenes, and yeah, it's awesome. On a wild day, the 8-foot maniac grabs you and rams your head up against a favorite. Rams your head up against a barroom wall, and he looks you crook in the eyes and asks you if you paid your dues, or you just remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like this: "Have you paid your dues, Jack?" "Yes, sir. The check is in the mail." Well, now, what does he say? Well, you look that sucker right back in those eyes, and you just remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Something like that. Look, I've watched it so many times it's not funny, and you know what? It's probably been a couple of years or more that I haven't seen it. So that's a disgrace. That should be my a yearly rewatch at least. But in all honesty, I haven't been watching many movies. I've got Netflix. It's had some. I've been sticking to a lot of short sort of stuff. I was watching an anime called Baki, which was awesome. And then they redid, and I thought it was like the second or third season that came out, but it's unrelated to the storyline and threw me off. But yeah, I've been watching, just comedy or some short stuff, and a lot of YouTube, man. YouTube is stealing me away from Netflix with watching a lot of gameplay. Apex gameplay, stuff like that. Or just stuff that you learn to do, researching, all sorts of things. It's just, yeah, and gameplay itself, and training. Like, I'd rather be doing this training than just sitting there mindlessly watching a movie. Don't get me wrong, I love my movies. Got my projector, my home cinema. Had that before Corona. It's nothing like having your own cinema, but now even more so important. It played a big part in helping during the lockdowns. Don't know if some people are still locked down out in certain areas of the world, but we've gotten a bit of a breather for now, which is good. Alright, where are we? Now we are up to one war. Oh yeah, these ones I really don't like. Geez, I really left the last two for the most fun time. But these are, like I said, they're crucially important. Okay. Start the timer. Alright. These little suckers, oh mate, they can make you hold your breath. Especially when you're following them and they just sort of change on you. I'll usually start off not too bad, and then by the time the 10 minutes is up, we're fatigued and we're focusing on staying calm, because I can get a sort of sense of anxiety when I'm trying to follow it and I'm shooting it 10 times like that or more. I've found that probably going like this, moving down, then retracking, down, retracking, down, retracking, down, retracking, down, retracking, tracking, down, retracking, tracking, tracking, tracking. That sort of helps, but when I decide to just follow the target like that, I'm not shooting it now, I'm just following it. Oh, change direction. And what I'm doing here is I'm also focusing on the crosshair being over the target. Doesn't change color, so it doesn't tell me, hey, you know, shoot. So it's really more of just, see that? You're a tricky little sucker. Whereas opposed of doing this. Maybe that's the way I'm sort of meant to do it. Alright, I've lost you. Move over to the next. Come back here. Boom. Come back here. Track. Boom. So this is the interesting thing. Like, you know, when you get the Kovaaks or any aim trainer, having these kind of questions to ask, I guess I could find someone on Fiverr who's an expert at this to critique and maybe work with you if you want to improve on your tracking. Tricky. Yeah. Sort of doing that following thing. But what I like to do sometimes is follow them, and I like it when they do that shortcut dodge like that. Because, you know, that's real. You know, that happens in the game. People sort of dodge and move, and especially if you're trying to go for a headshot and they're sort of, you know, you're tracking them or whatever while they're bobbing up and down or running or moving. Like, just imagine a head attached to that ball. I'm sorry, a body attached to that ball, right? And that's the head. You're trying to get it while they're moving around. See that? Whoop. If you've got a sniper rifle, you're at a distance. You're trying to line this up. Because generally your targets are going to be that small, unless you're just completely going for the head and it's far away. And if it is that small at a distance, well, it's going to be a different shape. People aren't made of balls unless you're chasing Pac-Man. And even then. I can feel my hand, my wrist, everything tightening up, my forearm. So I just become conscious of that. And then I relax, breathe. And say it's okay to miss, man. But this is all part of helping you track. See, even though this isn't my favorite, and you probably sort of get an idea why, it is really important. So it's one I'd probably, if I had to practice, I'd practice this more than any of the others. Practice the things you love least. Practice the things you find hard more. I shouldn't say despise. I should say, I don't hate it. I just find it harder than the others. Hence why I don't like it as much. Because, I mean, imagine now I was just smashing everything. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that. Imagine and it'll happen. Boom, boom. You know, and just effortlessly. I could just sit here all day long. Boom, no problem. Too easy. Then this would be my favorite, probably, or very enjoyable. And it would be great because my skill level would be fantastic then. So if I can do that here, my tracking would be brilliant. But here's the thing, it's not. So, and then I'd want to find something else to do that's harder. Maybe something like this where they move quicker, the targets are smaller. I mean, I've thought to myself, you know, the one I was doing with the small targets, really tiny. Imagine those moving around like this and you're trying to hit them. Wow. And then imagine just getting 20% good at those than what you would be currently. And then coming back to this, it would be like, would it be 40% better? Would you be 50? Would you be 100? I don't know. Is it exponential? I don't know how it multiplies on how good you get. But I'll tell you what, I was pretty tired today and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to get through this? I thought it's probably not the best of times to actually do a stream, but I was wanting to create a stream where I show what I'm doing and having a bit of a chat. And you know what? If there's anything you want to know about this that I may know or I can research and find out that might even benefit me and help you in any way, let me know. I mean, I'm happy to man, I love anything to do with this stuff. So share, Ask questions. If I know, I'll find out. If I don't, I'll try. I'll get back to you either way and let you know how I went with trying to answer your question. I love it. You know, people who get paid to do this, it's such a gift, I think. If you love it. If you don't love it, then it's a nightmare. Daddy pushing you into playing games. That's why I'm not really pushing my kid into all this stuff. If he wants to do it, he's welcome to. But he hasn't been really introduced to it, to be honest. He's played a little bit. He sat at my computer, but you know, I'm never one to... I'll encourage them with whatever they want to do and support them, but I'm never one to push them. You got to have that in you, man. Yourself. You got to love it. When you find something you love, you don't need to be pushed. You'll push the others to help you achieve your goal. You know, you'll be like, Dad, Mum, help me. I need this. I need that. Get me that SteelSeries keyboard that's worth $400 so I can be a better gamer. Whatever works. But the truth is, if that will help you be a better gamer, whether it's psychologically, like even if it's a placebo, that's the word I was looking for, psychological. Placebo, I'd buy it. Makes you feel good. Makes you want to play, makes you enjoy the craft. But really, when you got a passion for it, you could have the shittest tools and, you know, it won't matter. But I do understand that having the shittest tools can be... But then again, these days, technology is pretty good. You could buy something from Kmart and it'll be decent enough to play. And let's be honest, there are kids that are shit all over me in this game. And they're probably running, you know, $15 mice. So, with standard office type keyboard, no gaming keyboards and things. So that's what I mean, right? It's got to be you. Yeah, oh, I want to get the latest 144 Hz, 1 millisecond response monitor and all that. Yeah, but there are kids out there playing on a controller on their TV. And they're smashing. You look at this. This is where it starts to happen around now. Look at this. I'm chasing him all over the place. Oh my god! But I love it because that's what it's about, right? Fatigue, pushing through the fatigue, being aware of it, aware of my hand movements, how tired my wrist is, learning to relax my wrist, not tense up, learning to move with the flow, breathe. Gotcha. And the idea is that we improve. Alright. That one's done. And now we're up to the last, which is Ground Plaza. This one's more of just a fun one that I love to do. Let's find you here. Ground Plaza. And this one, I'm going to sit back in the chair, take a swig of my drink. Bring the mic down over here. All right. And 10 people. There we go. Alrighty. Last one. Let's hit the time up. Ground Plaza. And let's have some fun. Now this is a good one. This one I really like because this is the kind of stuff you really do get. Look at that. You go into his face, he moves back, or its face. Now I've just come from thin strafing, as you said, and you know, obviously hitting targets. So when I'm doing this, I do notice that I have improved a bit more in terms of my tracking ability. A little. See, it's not making any noise where the other one pops up. And then you got this ridiculous, like, I don't see anyone moving like this in Apex, but still, they're trying to track this. Now, when they're this close, this is where I try and focus on the target. But you know how quick they move back and forth, so trying to get your eyes to adjust over the crosshair. So, and they're moving so quick. Again, keep the crosshair up high. Wonderful. Keeping it smooth, or as smooth as I can. Keeping it on the crosshair. Trying not to flick, I'm trying to keep it smooth, but I tend to. Which, you know, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I am flicking back on target, but see how close here? I just keep it on the actual target. I'm not even trying to look at my crosshair. My crosshair is just blurred into this target. But because it's the biggest thing, it makes it easier to focus on. Further out, I can... There we go. Keep it up higher. And see, I'm also pressing... Oh, this is tricky. I'm also pressing both buttons on the mouse because I'm assuming I'm sort of zooming in at that, or looking down sight. But I guess when they're really close, I could let go and treat it like a shotgun or something like that. Because if they're really close, there's no point trying to look down sight. Your bullets will probably hit them. Again, depends on the game, right? You know what? I want to try Halo again. I didn't mind that. Obviously, again, there isn't any games at the moment that I can see that come close to Apex, but you know, COD and Call of Duty and Halo is probably the two I wouldn't mind trying. Though I wouldn't mind playing an actual game and doing sort of talk along, walk along video type. I've been thinking about Cyberpunk a lot. I have got Assassin's Creed, but I got the one where he's in Greece. I want to see the old school scenery down there. Run around. There's a Spartan, I think, in that, or it looks awesome. And I'm just overwhelmingly, crazily happy. I've heard that God of War will be coming out on PC. Well, I think, is it through Steam or something like that? I could be wrong, but if that is true, man, oh wow. That is one of my favourite games. I've brought a PS, well, my last, I'll be honest, this is for a gamer, my last PS was a PS3. I didn't go to 4, I haven't gotten the 5, but the reason why I did upgrade to a PlayStation was just because of God of War. But now that I know it's possible, that it's probably going to come out on PC, then that's awesome. I just rather game everything on a PC. I mean, I'm alright with controller to a certain degree. I just can't stand playing these type of shooter games with controller. There are kids out there that are incredible. What is that, Daltush or whatever his name is? He's in his 20s or whatever. But that kid's awesome. He's using a controller, man. And what about Zeus from Australia? Oh, man. Controller. I can't do that. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's ways to train myself, but I always hated playing PlayStation games that had that option, you know, trying to bring the mouse. I have to have a mouse. I love the mouse. It's just the way I play it. I'm not saying I can't learn it. I don't want to learn it. I just don't enjoy it. Like, I absolutely hate every minute of it. I guess that's another thing, isn't it? Maybe I should do it. I mean, Dr. Disrespect, he does both. So, I don't know if Tapman does controller. I think he's just exclusive keyboard. But yeah, this is how I love to play. So, and it's good, right? Because it sort of frees the TV up for watching movies instead of gaming there. Oh, my wife will go nuts if I'm playing games on the TV all the time. The PlayStation. Though my son does that too. He's purely controller. I tried getting him on the keyboard, but I mean, you gotta understand the kid's been playing on a controller for all these games have been on a controller. He's used to that. I can understand why there's a growing, and like I said, we're moving into an area where I don't think controllers, it'll be gloves. You'll be just moving your hand back and forth and tapping your fingers. At least that's where I'd sort of be taking it. Maybe the glove will mimic through pressure of a mouse or something. I don't know. Maybe it'll be glasses you wear and it's where you look with your eye quickest. Do your eyes? I mean, I know you can lose eyesight and all that, but do they slow down in terms of eye? Yeah, probably as you get older. Everything gets shit when you're older, doesn't it? Oh well. Just try and be a better older. Stay positive. See? When you look at the thin, long strafing that I did, and you look at that, and you look at that, sound like a New Zealander there. Look at that. It's a lot easier to try and stay on target, or at least the majority of your hits, right? That's why I'm looking at the target now and not the crosshair, trying to align the crosshair to the target. Yeah, it's crosshair. I mean, you're still noticing the target. I mean, you're not just looking at the crosshair, you'd be here, right? You're still looking at the target, but it's about focusing on the crosshair being over the target. That makes sense. And moving to it. Except when you get this messes with your depth of field. In and out, in and out. Well, this hasn't been too bad. I'm not sure how long. There we go. There we go. Oh, there's a tricky one, huh? Now look at that. No one moves like that in Apex. If you play to this and you're used to this and trying to track someone like this, and then you get someone in Apex moving the way that don't very rarely move like this. It's impossible, I think. Game dynamics, they don't even allow them to. They'd be using a cheat if they were. So think about it. If you're hitting this majority of the time, what's going to happen? You know, I mean, there's other dynamics, obviously, you're getting shot back at as well, but if you can stick to a target here and hit 99% of your shots, or 100 on target, with this kind of movement, and then you're in Apex with someone, even if they've got good shooting, I mean, you could practice strafing as well, and just jumping and sort of ducking and staying on. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. That's the thing. That's one of the problems I've got with the guide. It's like you download Kovaaks, but there's no real, like, telling you don't move. Like, I've seen some of them, actually, the instructions for this was don't move, just stay on target. So I haven't been doing that. I've just been staying on target. But moving is more realistic. And that's how I'd be playing, you know, trying to hit the target. And then trying to move out of the way so they can't shoot me. But that's not what I've been doing. I mean, it is a name trainer, but, you know, that goes hand in hand, right? My movements are... I'll just try and finish this little guy off. Come here, man. See how just directional changes. He's crazy. And done. Oh, mark that off my wall now. I've got a calendar and I mark down, I do the Apex Legends symbol on each date. So I've gotten back in track of what I'm doing. I'm just looking at the calendar here. Because I trained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days straight consistently Then I was off for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a whole week. And then we got back into it. I trained for 2 days, had 1 day off. Things were just coming up. Personal family commitments, I couldn't do it. So I trained 2 days after that, 1 day off, 2 days on again, 2 days off, 2 days on, 2 days off. And then, 3 days off. And then 2 days on, 1 day off. And then 2 days on, and then 2 days off. 1 day on, 1 day off. And then I said, you know what, Harry, come on, man. You really got to get back on track here. So now we've been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and today makes a 6 day straight with no days off committed. And we're still going. So that's beautiful. That's nearly a week. 1 more day tomorrow. We've been a week back into it. Now, it does say to train this anywhere between 3 to 5 weeks. We've been training all up, if I was to count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 days I've been training on this. So 717, 722, 14, 73 is 21. We've gone over 3 weeks. I plan on doing the 5 weeks, then the 3. Purely because like I said, I always like to go to the max. But I'm going to do that. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end it here. So this doesn't end up being extended, and it splits it up as a Kovaaks training live streaming vid that I made that, if anyone comes back to watch, they can watch it, hear me having a chat. I may jump back into Apex, I'm thinking. I'm just going to go maybe have a quick bite or chill a bit, see what's happening with the missus inside, because I'm in the games room at the moment, in the man cave. So we'll end it here. I do plan on coming back. I think I will throw up another one. Even if I play a few games, I will live stream it, and it'll be up here, so it'll be after this video. But if I don't, I'll be back tomorrow. That's a definite. And we'll film some Apex or some game playing or something else. I'm thinking maybe trying some COD, but we'll see what happens. Thanks for whoever comes back to watch it. I won't say thanks for joining me, because it says current viewers 0, so no one was here. But this is how it works, guys. This is, anything you're going to do in life, you could get discouraged thinking, okay, I'm posting videos here, but no one's saying anything. But for me, this is me perfecting my art. And it's kind of comforting knowing that no one's really watching me at the moment, even though it's a live stream. I'm treating it that way. I'm acting like it is. I'm feeling like it is. But it's also a comfort knowing that while I'm perfecting and practicing, it's a comfort, because I'm probably making mistakes or I get some glitches happening. There's a lot more things I want to improve, like setting up my second PC to stream so I get better quality streams, maybe even buying a stream card. I don't know. But at the moment, before I even spend a single cent, I definitely want to have the art down, know that this is something I love, which I am enjoying at the moment. Even though I'm a bit tired, and I've got obviously the other channel at Stuff You Should Buy. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. It's youtube.com/Stuff You Should Buy, one word. It's where I do my product reviews, so you can see. And I've got stuff I've got to throw up. It's been over a week, man. I think I really got to get cracking into that one tomorrow. So I've got a really cool video to show. I'm showing the Gigabyte ultra widescreen monitor that I got, 34-inch. So I've got to edit the video on that, and I use my DSLR. I haven't used that in years to do video editing. I've usually just used my phone, but man, that can record some quality vid, I'll tell you. Even in low light, you just don't have to worry all that much. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to get that. So I will keep doing it. And as I said, even where it looks, oh geez, no, I know what I could do in terms of the marketing aspect side to get people to come and see me, or at least get traffic and see if this is going to work. But you know what I want to do? I want to build up a stream of videos. Like, so many in my library. I still haven't changed the name. I don't know if I'm just going to end up leaving it to Feng Shui for the fun of it, but can you imagine that? And maybe see if I could change my username as well. Feng Shui. No. But I don't know. It's we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see. I'm just thinking to myself, probably getting, I don't know, I'm meditating on it, really. I think I've been meditating, and when I'm in the shower, I get great ideas. We'll see. I just want a really awesome name that goes hand in hand with the channel, and also that I can use. I across the board. Maybe even register as a .com website and register it as well in my gameplay across, like from COD to... And right now, I don't really have any usernames that I think I'm big on, to be honest. They're just for fun, whatever I've created. So I'll just meditate on that, and I'll let the universe and God Force come back and bless me with something really cool. I'm going to have to tap into a higher place. And for you atheists out there, tap into the subconscious or the higher states of the mind. Whatever works, man. Whatever works. Anyway, I digress. I've been going on and on. Look at that. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at the time and it's 1:11. It's 1 a.m. and 11 minutes. That for me, and like I said, look up, I don't know what it's called, angel numbers or whatever, but it's amazing. Oh, wow. I just looked up at the timer on Kovaaks and it went 111.11. So that was even bigger. For me, these numbers are massive. They say that whatever... Usually the 111s is where you're really aligned into some really good energy, and that whatever thought you're having has the potential to really manifest. So I'm just going to send out here my love to everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for watching this, even if it has been down the track, for subscribing, and for helping me grow this channel and making it massive. That's the good intention that I'm putting out there. And for giving me something to do that I absolutely love. I mean... Yeah, this is a dream when this turns into a job. And like I said, there's some negativeness to the word job, getting a job, but if this turns into a day job, man, it's a dream day job, put it that way. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. And if it doesn't, we'll create another dream, because that's what life's about, creating dreams, man. Don't ever get stuck, and if you do, keep dreaming. And take some kind of action, even if it's tiny and it doesn't show much. Take some action towards it, because that action, every day, small, even if it's like 5 minutes or not even small, but if you do it every day, it collectively adds up. Think about it. Imagine you did something that only took you 1 minute 60 seconds every day for 365 days a year, and you did that for 3 years or 4 years or 5 or 10. Tell me you can't get better at it. Tell me it can't bear some kind of fruit, right? It'll give you something. I guarantee you'll probably pivot and it'll grow into something, but it will grow, and you'll know. And if it's good and it feels good and you're following the feel of it, and it's bringing you joy, pure joy, then you'll know you're on the right track. And yeah, so even if it's small, man, just do it. All right, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, and post a comment. It could be anything, just a hi. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for coming across the channel, and be blessed. All the best. Be blessed. See ya.